Thought it would be good tonight to jump in on a couple of different fronts, not the least of which is the bullshit, and I do say bullshit, around the Hunter Biden laptop mythology. Now, there's a point, to be completely fair, at one point, I think TYT, like a bunch of other people, say something along the lines of, this is real. Hold on, let me see.
Dissents across the board. Whoa, that seems bad.
Wow.
Yeah, Anna, that's my point. That's my point. Let me weigh in on this story.
Yeah, I can hardly wait. Hunter Biden investigation continues despite paying tax dues is the name of the...
We now have firm conclusions. Hunter Biden and his laptop. Okay, first.
Firm conclusions.
Let me just declare, our bias in this case is approximately 0%.
Bullshit. Wait, why'd it go away? Did they get knocked off the air? What happened? Really?
We don't give a damn about Hunter Biden. We don't care if he's innocent. We don't care if he's guilty.
He ain't my hero.
Yeah, so Democrats...
He ain't my hero. I just want to shit on him from a distance. I think he refers to him as like a rich, powerful guy's kid.
And Hunter Biden, the Republicans attack him. They're both incredibly biased. For us, he's a rando son of a powerful person. So what? Okay, so if he was completely, and by the way, when the headlines hit, I was like, oh, let's see what they got. And if turns out he did it, okay, fine, great.
And the did it part he's talking about is didn't pay his taxes.
Away.
Which he did.
I don't care at all, okay? So now, there's a reason why it matters, and it's about Joe Biden, and the jury's come in completely. So we'll explain. So let me go one by one. On the case, I'm glad they brought it. Why am I glad they brought it against Hunter Biden? Because it turns out some bitch hadn't paid his taxes. All of a sudden they bring a case. He's like, oh yeah, well, I always meant to pay.
That's not how it worked out. He's mischaracterizing it, but that's not the important part.
Did
we'll
you?
Move on.
Because it didn't seem like you meant to pay the taxes. So on that alone, I'm glad that the federal authorities brought this case against Hunter Biden.
Can I just say something real quick? Look, I'm with you. I think it's very likely that he was dodging his taxes. However, just devil's advocate, he went through a pretty lengthy stretch of being addicted to some serious drugs, okay?
Oh, totally.
So he left his laptop behind at
No, he didn't.
a repair shop.
No, he didn't.
That had all sorts of sensitive stuff in it.
No, it didn't.
Yes, on the other hand, it turns out the laptop, in an incredible, spectacular twist of irony.
Spectacular twist of irony.
Proves that Joe Biden didn't do it, which I'll get to in a second.
Oh yeah, that's some of the emails that they've gotten from Burisma, which is another story entirely, is what he's talking about.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so but you're right. He was a hot mess, and no one would dispute that, including Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
Correct.
Right. So, but guys, on the actual charges, he's guilty but not guilty, right? So on taxes. So because did he not pay them? No, he didn't pay them, right? And the fact that you pay them later doesn't actually make you innocent, but it makes it incredibly hard to convict you. Now,
he took out a loan and paid them.
there isn't a prosecutor in the country that's going to bring that charge minus the politics.
Because it's difficult to convince a jury to want to convict you
After you already paid them,
you've paid your
right?
taxes, yeah.
Right.
So, and then he'll go in and say, I was on a lot of things, and now that I'm sober, I paid the taxes. There's no way they're going to convict on that. On Farah, the foreign agent issue, I have no idea. Let him keep going. Let the grand jury decide.
Right.
Let the jury decide.
Yeah, just go after him. Just go after him. Now, in a second, Cenk is going to mention that there's a very specific email from the Burisma cache that's on the alleged laptop, which doesn't exist. But I'm not even going to play with that bullshit. That they just automatically go, well, it's from the laptop. No, it isn't. No one affirms that. No one asserts that. Show me a picture. Show me metadata. Knock it the fuck off.
I don't know enough evidence about it. Seems like he could have done it, or he
Except for
may not have done it. I'm not at all sure. Okay. So, and if they convict him on that, good. I don't care. That means that they had enough evidence. Okay. So now, most important, who cares about Hunter Biden? The question is Joe Biden corrupt? Right. Well, Anna just read you a quote that said, remember, we need to abide by the laws, which was going to be pretty good evidence in this trial that he's not guilty of the FARA violations either.
Right. That's my point. Chink is now quoting an email that exonerates Hunter Biden on any influence peddling.
And our partners need to know in no uncertain terms, are we going to interfere? But wait, that's not all. There's a money quote coming up here. He does refer to Joe Biden as quote unquote my guy, right? So I love how the right wing is so shallow. They're like a millimeter deep, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, the laptop is real. By the way, the laptop is real. That's interesting.
No, it's not.
That's interesting.
No, it isn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Not asserted in the story at all. Everybody just carrying this as if. Okay, for one second. Okay, here's where this starts. So this is the Hunter Biden laptop story from the New York Post a long time ago. Biden's secret emails revealed. Ukrainian exec thanked Hunter Biden for opportunity to meet VP Dad. Right, that's the whole thing. Smoking gun email reveals how he introduced Ukrainian businessman to VP Dad. That's from 2020. That's the article that everybody's running about this never before seen meeting, blah blah blah, which never happened, by the way. Let's see, and this is photos of the Delaware subpoena given to Post show that both the computer and the hard drive were seized by the FBI in December. This is the one that Fox showed as well. They were not. Hold on. After the shop's owner says he alerted the feds to their existence. So this is a piece of paper given to them by the shop owner, not the FBI. So let's just go with forgery. But anyways, the federal subpoena showing computer and hard drive were seized by the A, not the A. And they weren't seized, they were given to them. Now, here's the thing. Where do they go after that? Besides the garbage. All right. Before turning the gear over, the shop owner says he made a copy of the hard drive and later gave it to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer, Robert Costello. This is all bullshit, we know, because there was a previous story about the laptop was actually at the house of, what's his name? Charles Blow. I always blow that name. Hold on one second. Let's see. Hunter laptop, Fox News psychiatrist story. We'll find it here. All right. But New York Times about Hunter Biden. This is all okay. This is going to be way back there. Yeah, here it is. This was yeah. So Keith Ablow, the original story was that this is October 31st, 2020. Federal authorities have allegedly seized a second laptop belonging, and by the way, they acted like it was after. This is earlier than the other one. Another laptop purportedly belonging to Joe Biden's son was taken by the Drug Enforcement Administration in February on Friday at this dude's house. This is Keith Ablow. Two sources told the outlet the laptop was taken when the feds executed a search warrant on Ablow's office in Massachusetts. Ablow, a psychiatrist, had his medical license suspended after he allegedly sexually exploited patients, among other accusations of professional misconduct. He was a regular Fox guest and a shrink they had there. Ablow has denied them, hasn't been charged with any crimes at that point. He has since then, I think. Hunter Biden has made headlines. Was given, after another first laptop was given to the FBI after he apparently dropped it off at a repair shop in 2019 and never picked it up. Also bullshit story. But this was the first, this was the original source. Ablow's source was the original source for these alleged pictures and stories. Laptop repairman story. Let's see. Here we go. This is is it back up? Hold on. Yeah. So this is the story everybody's quoting right now. This is the Hunter Biden paid tax bill, but broad federal investigation continues. And this is about whether he paid his taxes. This is the article they're talking about. Okay. So after you go through this and it talks about the FARA stuff and all that, whatever, they go down to he's now a painter and he's basically retired. There it is. Okay, so this is the art. This is the paragraph that everybody is like, ah, ha, ha, ha. All right, so this is it. People familiar with the investigation said prosecutors had examined emails between Mr. Biden, Mr. Archer, and others about Burisma and other foreign business activity. Those emails were obtained by the New York Times from a cache of files that appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by Mr. Biden in Delaware repair shop, which he didn't. The email and others in the cache were authenticated by people familiar with them and with the investigation. That the emails that appear to be. Now, since we know this is Russian disinfo, you don't think they're going to actually try to make them look like they could at least appear to be real? Right. So, again, show me a picture of the metadata on the actual stuff. I'm not talking about, I don't want to see printouts like Rudy is waving, and I don't want to see this bullshit. Appears to have come from a laptop abandoned by. Okay, so this is a hyperlink. So we go to this. This is the what we know and don't know about the Hunter Biden and a laptop. Okay, so this is September 13th, 2021. They updated it, but this was from 2020. I don't know which part of it. Let's see what they updated at the bottom. Hold on. There should be some version of this article appears in print 2020, section of the New York Times edition of the headline, what we know and don't know about the Hunter Biden laptop. Order reprints, today's paper, subscribe, blah, 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 what we don't. Okay. So here's the thing. How the laptop service, they tell the backstory of this nonsense. And he goes, at some point, he decided to examine the material, calling it alarming and embarrassing, but declining to discuss specifics. But Mr. Isaac said he made a copy of the computer's contents. And so that's where we go from it being a laptop that supposedly exists to a hard drive that ends up in Rudy Giuliani's possession. This guy won't talk to anybody anymore, and he's just basically disappeared. But this hard drive, Rudy has made 4 or 5 copies of it, but he won't give them out permanently or something. He only gives them to like Steve Bannon, I suppose, has a copy. It's hard to say because when they raided his apartment, he had 3 of them. So, which is, if it's, again, if any of it's true, even if it's deep fakes or whatever, the idea that there's, alleged child porn on this hard drive, meaning that there's supposedly pictures of Hunter Biden having sex with a woman that somehow Rudy Giuliani knows is under 18. I don't know how he's supposed to know that. But apparently he does magically. But if he does believe that, if he doesn't even, it doesn't even have to be true. It's like when on To Catch a Predator, when they bust somebody, the person luring the person doesn't have to be 18 for it to be a crime. If they believe they were meeting a 15-year-old, it's a crime. Okay, so Rudy Giuliani copying pictures of Hunter Biden having sex or deep fakes of Hunter Biden having sex or copies of whatever. If Rudy Giuliani legitimately believes that any people in it are underage, and he makes copies of it and disseminates it, that's dissemination of child porn. That's a crime. Ask Rudy. He will know this. Okay, so this is fun too. What about concerns over Russian disinformation? No concrete evidence has emerged that the laptop contains Russian disinformation. With pressure mounting on the FBI to respond to questions from Congress about the laptop, the Bureau wrote to one of the president's staunchest allies in Congress, Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, suggesting it had not found any Russian disinfo on the laptop. What does that mean? Did it find Russian info on the laptop? Does it not consider it? Okay. That part meaning that they haven't found any criminality on it. So the hard drives that Rudy has actually have it. So basically, the laptop and the hard drive are different. They contain different stuff. Okay. And John Ratcliffe, the director of national intelligence, told Fox that the laptop is, quote, not a part of some Russian disinformation campaign. But Mr. Ratcliffe, who's been criticized for embracing the president's political agenda, or the FBI authenticated the laptop's contents, or whether he was simply saying they had not gathered evidence that Russia altered any of the material. They're not looking. They don't want to look. The whole thing, it's basically, there's under direct, don't look at it. Just hold it. If you look, you'll find out it's bullshit. If you disseminate all of the files, somebody will do a metadata search on all the stuff, and recognize that it's bullshit. So hide it. Just sit on it. It's just like the Zelensky press conference. We don't need the investigation. We just need you to say there's going to be an investigation. It's the same shit. Hal sitting at a table with a sign, "There is no Hunter Biden laptop, prove me wrong." I would love to do that. I think it's hilarious. So there you go. That's the point I'm trying to make. This is goofy. And again, none of this says there is one, including, by the way, the most recent New York Times story. This one, which is there, everybody's, everybody is talking about that paragraph. This one right here, as if the fact that some of these emails, which when the Russians would put this together, they would get real ones from Burisma. Remember Burisma was hacked. Remember that before let's see, Burisma hacked by Russia. Boop. There you go. This guy. You guys will remember this. Remember this story? Russians hacked Ukrainian gas company at center of impeachment. This is January 13th, 2020. This is before the laptop, kids. This is before the laptop. Before the laptop magically appears. With President Trump facing an impeachment trial over his efforts to pressure Ukraine to investigate former President Joseph R. Biden and his son Hunter Biden, Russian military hackers have been boring into the Ukrainian gas company at the center of the affair, according to security experts. Hacking attempts against Burisma, the Ukrainian gas company on whose board Hunter Biden served, began in early November. That's in 2019. As talk of the Biden's Ukraine impeachment was dominating the news and the stories. It's not clear what the hackers found or precisely what they were searching for. Again, the assumption is the problem. Can I say this to news people? Hackers don't always take stuff out. Sometimes hackers put stuff in, especially when it's it's disinfo. Come on, grow up. All right. But the experts say the timing and scale of the attacks against the Russians could be searching for potentially embarrassing material in the Bidens, the same kind of information he wanted from Ukraine when he pressed for an investigation of the Bidens and Burisma, setting off a chain of events that led to his impeachment. The Russian tactics are strikingly familiar to what intelligence say was Russia's hacking of emails from Senator Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman and Democratic National Committee during the 2016 case. In that case, once they had the emails, the Russians used trolls to spread and spin the material and build an echo chamber to widen its effect. Right. Same shit. And then they talk about Fancy Bear and the hacking of it and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so what you do is you break into Burisma and you take some out. Take some stuff out, some real stuff, and then you mix it with some stuff you make up yourself in a big soup, and nobody wants to sort it out because it's already chopped up, and you have to admit to some of it if you, to all of it, if you just admit to some of it. If you go, yeah, that's mine, that part's mine, but then you have to go, that part's not mine, and that part's mine, and then you're parsing all this stuff instead of just going, not mine, fuck off, which is what you will do. So there you go. Anyways, it's it doesn't exist. I'm just fucking telling you that it does not. I'm sick of this stupid bullshit.
Grant that. And then
no, you don't grant that. It's garbage. Forget it. Quit it.
And they're like, and then he said in the emails, my God. Yeah, we know, dude, that's Joe Biden. We know that. Okay, so, but what did he say about my guy? He said, my guy, but not, he wouldn't refer to him by name, but he said that.
And by the way, some of these emails are not from allegedly the Hunter Biden laptop. That's the other problem with this. They're co-mingling this story with stuff that came from Hunter Biden's business partner, emails that were gotten from that investigation about taxes.
Should be, quote, characterized. Now, remember, he's on the Ukrainian gas company's board, so he's trying to make himself look important to them, so they keep paying him ungodly sums of money for no reason.
No, they're paying it because he's a shepherd for investors' money, and he can't escape. Because the problem with Burisma and a lot of the Ukrainian stuff was there's so many Russian sock puppets around that anytime investors came in to try and shore up any of the businesses legitimately, the money would always end up in Russia. It would always be stolen. That's what they mean by corruption. It would not go to the actual services that the Ukrainian people want and need. It would be gutted by Republican, by Russian criminals. And so one of the reasons why they wanted Hunter Biden on the board, whether he knew anything about oil and gas or not, was that he was most investors are like this, are a shepherd for the money. You give them money, they invested in something, and they are the caretakers of it so that it gets spent where it's supposed to go. And unlike these other people who've been bringing money into Burisma and other companies over the years, Hunter Biden's dad is the VP. He can't fucking vanish into Russia. He didn't need to know anything. His dad's name being on the line was enough to guarantee the investors that their money would be spent where it was supposed to go.
$40,000 a month.
$40,000 a month. Okay.
Yes. For over, $12 billion worth of investment over time in Burisma? $40,000 a month is chicken shit money.
So he says about his relationship with his dad, it should be, quote, characterized as part of our advice and thinking. In other words, what Biden's gonna say is should be characterized as our advice and our thinking, so that the board members think, oh man, this guy's got the vice presidency. But he continues, this is a direct quote from a document he did not think would ever be revealed. But what he will say and do is out of our hands. Joe Biden, definitively not guilty.
Right. The point is that it was never going to be that way. And it was always going to be clear to them that they're not. They were watering this down to make it look like, well, I'll give it a try. But there is no there. Never was. And even like mixed in with these emails is other bullshit to try and make it like, well, maybe he might have in the future. No. Sorry. Piss off with that nonsense. Right, but what about Hillary's emails? Exactly.